cheap. I knew you never robbed a place, you faker.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 biopics about famous criminals.
I find it absurd to ask for mercy for something that I did not do.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
If I'm not mistaken, you just tried to bribe a federal officer.
No, technically I didn't bribe anybody.
No.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most critically acclaimed movies based on real-life criminals. They don't have to be strict biopics per se, but must be either closely or loosely based on existing people who have committed crimes. Which of these biopics is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. I, Tonya. In the world of figure skating, few names are as controversial as Tonya Harding. While a skater with promise, her career was permanently tarnished following the attack on Nancy Kerrigan. Harding's involvement remains ambiguous, but she pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice and was banned from figure skating. I, Tonya spins a darkly comedic and near sympathetic portrayal of the story.
And I'm a real person. You know, I never apologize for growing up poor or being a redneck, which is what I am.
It's shot in a unique mockumentary format, which brings audiences closer to the characters and their motivations. And Margot Robbie proves sensational in the titular role, garnering a large degree of pity through her low self-esteem.
The Skating Association doesn't think you can do it. Trashy Tonya doesn't belong. Your own mother doesn't think so. I'm gonna show you.
The movie also touches on some tough topics, including class division and parental mistreatment, extending its thematic reach beyond the surface story. Number 9. Heavenly Creatures. Garnering Peter Jackson an Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay, Heavenly Creatures is a dark glimpse into the impulsive teenage mind.
Only the best people fight against all obstacles in pursuit of happiness.
It concerns the Parker Hume murder case, a well-known incident from New Zealand in which Honora Parker was beaten to death by her own teenage daughter and her daughter's friend.
We don't want to go to too much trouble. Some sort of accident.
Writer-director Jackson films the movie with a sympathetic and dreamlike eye, treating his teenage characters as flawed and dangerously hasty human beings. Aiding in that regard is the magnificent Kate Winslet, who makes a fantastic and nuanced film debut as Juliet Hume.
It's an absolute paradise of music, art, and pure enjoyment.
It's unlike anything else in Jackson's filmography, neither epic in scope nor a cult B-movie. It's both tender and grotesque, a great true crime movie. Number 8. Reversal of Fortune. In 1985, American lawyer Alan Dershowitz published a nonfiction book titled Reversal of Fortune inside the Von Bulow case, in which he gave a detailed account of one of his most high-profile early ventures.
Can I explain something to you? The less I know from you, the more options I have. When you tell me the truth, you limit me to a defense that lines up with what you have to say.
He was defending a socialite named Klaus von Bulow, who was on trial for the attempted killing of his wife, Sunny. The story is recounted in this great movie starring Glenn Close and Jeremy Irons, who won the Academy Award for Best Actor.
You're a very strange man.
You have no idea.
The story is enticing and ambiguous, the truth always shifting and unclear. It also has deeper ambitions that help flesh out the story, touching on themes like celebrity trials, the criminal justice system, and the dark side of social elitism.
You do have one thing in your favor. Everybody hates you.
Well, that's a start.
Number 7. Foxcatcher. An exercise in great acting, Foxcatcher tells the story of John DuPont, a philanthropist and wrestling enthusiast who killed Olympic wrestler Dave Schultz in the winter of 1996.
Hey, John. What's happening? Hey, whoa.
No, John.
Do you have a problem with me?
John, don't, John.
John, I don't have a problem.
Schultz is portrayed by Mark Ruffalo, with Channing Tatum playing his brother Mark and an unrecognizable Steve Carell as DuPont. The movie's strengths lay primarily in its acting and directing.
I want to be the best in the world. I want to go to Worlds and win gold. I want to go to the 88 Olympics in Seoul and win gold.
All three stars are exceptional in their roles, with both Carell and Ruffalo earning Oscar nominations. Director Bennett Miller is also in complete control, with keen instincts for his actors and a studious eye for visual flair. He also imbues the movie with a repressive mood, signaling the dark undercurrent of DuPont and the tragic events that eventually transpired.
Coaching these young athletes, I am able to instill in them the lessons that I have learned in life.
Number 6. Badlands. While the story of Terrence Malick's Badlands is mostly fictional, it has historic roots in the crime spree of Charles Starkweather and Carol Ann Fugate, which is why we're considering it here.
I mean, nobody's coming out of this thing happy, especially not us. I can't deny we've had fun, though.
Between December 1957 and January 1958, a teenaged Starkweather killed 11 people throughout Wyoming and Nebraska, with an even younger Fugate as his accomplice. The movie served as a bold feature debut for Malick, immediately signaling his potential as one of American cinema's most creative visionaries.
Kid, I got a question for you. You like people?
They're okay.
Then why'd you do it?
I don't know.
Badlands expertly blends true crime drama with visual decadence, its brutal narrative playing out amid the gorgeously shot American West. It's more poetic than most movies of its ilk, putting emphasis on its tone and atmosphere rather than story events. It is as beautiful as true crime can get.
You're quite an individual, kid.
Think you'll take that into consideration?
Number 5. Can You Ever Forgive Me? Featuring a stunning against-type performance from Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me tells the story of famous forger Lee Israel. A struggling writer, Israel began forging hundreds of letters from dead celebrities.
Oh, what a funny coincidence then that your cousin had this. Didn't she say wrong is for other people? I love that.
She did say that.
Her forgeries were eventually detected by the FBI, and her sentence amounted to 6 months house arrest and 5 years probation. Director Marielle Heller has a deft command of tone, richly balancing the story's pathos with a lot of great dark comedy.
She's not an agent anymore. She died.
She did? Jesus, that's young.
Maybe she didn't die. Maybe she just moved back to the suburbs. I was confused those two.
But the real star is the Oscar-nominated McCarthy, who seems born to play Israel. She completely disappears into the role, conveying a cold and prickly person with a strong undercurrent of sympathy.
Well, come on, I'm not going to rat you out or anything.
That was very generous of you. I don't have $5,000.
You're a clever woman. Figure it out.
Number 4. Monster. A transformative Charlize Theron stars as Eileen Wuornos, a sex worker who killed 7 men between 1989 and 1990.
I love him, and I hate him. You know, I love him, and I hate him.
Wuornos was eventually convicted on 6 counts of first-degree murder and was executed in 2002. While the movie earned some criticism for its overly sympathetic portrayal of Wuornos, it nevertheless contains a mesmerizing performance from Theron.
It's not the point, Sal. I got you now. I got everything going for me. So I'm gonna do it up royal. This time I'm doing it up royal.
Pulitzer Prize-winning critic Roger Ebert called it one of the greatest performances in the history of cinema, as Theron walked away with a slew of industry honors, including the Oscar, Golden Globe, and SAG Award. The movie belongs to her, and it may be one of the greatest performances ever found in a biopic.
What? What you got? Huh? Wanna bring it on?
Number 3. Catch Me If You Can. Honestly, any movie directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks would be worth watching.
Mind if I see some identification? Sure. You never can be too careful these days.
Catch Me If You Can tells the story of con artist Frank Abagnale, with DiCaprio in the lead role and Hanks as the FBI agent tasked with catching him. Many of Abagnale's claims have been questioned over time, but either way, it makes for one entertaining and expansive story, spanning several years as Abagnale makes his way across the country.
I'm sorry, Carl. If you couldn't catch him here, you're not going to catch him there.
But, sir, we're going to let him get away.
No, Carl. You let him get away.
The film moves at a brisk pace, and the beautiful 60s production design transports viewers to a classically stylish time in American history. Plus, you can never go wrong with DiCaprio and Hanks, in case we weren't clear.
You're wearing a wedding ring, Carl. You lied to me about that. You lied about that.
You asked me if I had a family. I did, but I don't anymore.
Number 2, Bonnie and Clyde. It makes sense that one of the most famous crime biopics would tell the story of one of the most famous criminal couples.
Hey, that ain't ours.
Sure it is.
No, but we come in this one.
That don't mean we have to go home in it.
Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow robbed gas stations, stores, and banks throughout the central U.S. during the Great Depression, and their crime spree resulted in at least 13 deaths. Arthur Penn's historic biopic transcends the true crime genre, offering some genuinely great and artful filmmaking.
What the hell are you doing parking a car?
It was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, half of which were for acting, and it revolutionized the depictions of both sex and violence in mainstream cinema. The seedy crime films of the 70s owe their very existence to Bonnie and Clyde, and it's generally regarded as one of the best movies of all time.
Look, I don't want you to worry about nothing. This is gonna be the easiest thing in the world. Your mama could take this bank.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. The Wolf of Wall Street, a fast-moving, highly entertaining film about Wall Street scammer Jordan Belfort.
Just like that, I made $2 grand. The other guys looked at me like I just discovered fire.
Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, a grotesque film about Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole that makes viewers feel dirty.
That's a little more than we were planning to spend. I think we should just take the TV.
Okay, which one do you want?
The $50 one.
American Gangster, a stylish period piece starring Denzel Washington as Harlem drug trafficker Frank Lucas.
So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody or you're nobody.
Bernie, Jack Black brilliantly plays against type as killer mortician Bernie Tita.
I couldn't face being around her any longer, and then it just happened. I don't know. I shot her. I shot poor Mrs. Nugent 4 times.
Snowtown, a brutal Australian film about the bodies and barrels murders carried out by John Bunting, Robert Wagner, and James Vlasakis.
Hello, Mum. I just wanted to call and tell you that I've met someone. His name's Andy. Andy wants me to live up north.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Goodfellas.
You hear what I said? Don't buy anything, don't get anything, nothing big. Did you hear what I said? What's the matter with you?
Arguably the greatest crime drama ever made, Goodfellas is a tantalizing glimpse into the mafia. Martin Scorsese has made a slew of thrilling biopics throughout his career, including Casino and The Irishman. But Goodfellas is his masterpiece. The movie is based on Wise Guy, Nicholas Pileggi's nonfiction book about the life of FBI informant Henry Hill. Goodfellas is the perfect slew of exciting storytelling, masterful acting, and expert film editing. Even amidst a stacked cast, Joe Pesci stands out, giving one of the scariest performances in film history as the unhinged Tommy DeVito.
I almost had him. You stuttering prick yet. Frankie, was he shaking?
And the entire third act presents like a drug-fueled and paranoid fever dream that is conveyed by virtuosic editor Thelma Schoonmaker. It's a classic movie that conveys an exhilarating true crime story.
See, your murderers come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who have cared for you all of your life, and they always seem to come at a time when you're at your weakest and most in need of their help.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.